Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. The ruling Law and Justice Party kicked off its election campaign with a major political convention in Warsaw. Local elections are going to take place this fall and will be followed by parliamentary elections next year. Jarosław Kaczyński, the leader of Law and Justice, announced that his party plans to visit around 700 big cities, small towns and villages before the end of July.
The leader of the ruling party, Jarosław Kaczyński, told the party ranks that the party will be going on a great tour around the country in order to have the dialogue with voters. Today, we will announce our plan of action for the coming months. We want Poles to know that we are constantly thinking of new ways to make their lives easier, to support families and Poles all over the country. The Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki announced a couple of new policies that will be introduced shortly. Our first proposition for Poles is to lower the social security tax for small companies. The Prime Minister also promised that the party will lower corporate income tax from 15% to 9%. We will lower taxes for small and medium-sized companies. After having introduced the 500-plus child benefit program, it's now time to also help out families with children that are of school age. We will give 300 zlotys to every child before the start of the academic year. Prime Minister Morawiecki also promised that mothers who have raised a minimum of 4 children and have not entered the labor force will receive a state pension. We will help out the women that have 4 or more children and have reached the age of retirement without being eligible for a pension by making sure that they will be given a state pension. The Prime Minister also revealed that the government will spend 5 billion zlotys, which is around $2 billion, on renovating local and regional roads. The leader of the ruling party, Jarosław Kaczyński, warned the party to not rest on its laurels and that pride comes before a fall. We must make sure to keep our hands clean. It's not an easy thing. Humans are by nature sinners, but we must do everything we can so that nobody will be able to level accusations against us. This fall's regional election will show whether or not the new election promises will be enough to attract new voters.
More and more members of the previous government of the opposing Civic Platform Party are being under investigation of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau. Politicians of the Civic Platform are of an opinion that the ruling Law and Justice Party is on a witch hunt. However, the malpractices of the previous government officials still raise a lot of eyebrows.
Jesteśmy zatem zjednoczeni.
We are all united here. The effect of our work has frustrated Kaczyński and his Law and Justice Party. It is not a coincidence that a week ago they started their hunt against our members. We have witnessed this in the parliament, where they tried to abolish immunities of Ryszard Petru and Stanisław Gawłowski. Their reaction is late. It is too late, Mr. Kaczyński, because the nation has already seen what you truly are. You really need to understand that. You are going to lose in the upcoming elections.
We want to build a country that is based not on authoritarian rule, but on decisions of the nation and on self-government. We want a Poland that is not stuck in the past. We want a Poland that is not taken care of by high and mighty sirs, but responsible leaders.
Syria was hit by over 100 of missiles launched by the United States, British and French forces. This is the first coordinated Western strike against the Damascus government, targeting what they said were chemical weapon sites in retaliation for a suspected poison gas attack. There were no reports of casualties. Allies of Damascus are saying that the buildings hit have been evacuated in advance. This week, we followed the commemoration of the 8th anniversary of the Smolensk crash. For years, all eyes were on the efforts of the state officials to explain the causes of this tragic event. Most Poles share the opinion that the pilots were not to be blamed. This week, the Polish Air Crash Investigation Committee provided evidence that it was the explosive charges that brought down the plane. Yet people in Poland are still divided on this issue. Poland Daily interviewed Professor Michał Kleiber of the Polish Academy of Sciences on what could be done to unite the Poles.
after the crash Smolensk crash of the plane with the president on board and 95 other personalities, we appeared to be united. It was sort of very moving that people, obviously people of different political attitudes, they were united and they were just close as we all actually had the feeling of being victims of something absolutely unusual and terrible. And but the truth is that it lasts just weeks or months, and then everything returned to normal, or even worse than it used to be in the past. Today, after 8 years, the situation, the psychological situation within the society is worse than it has ever been, which is a very sad statement, but it's probably true. This is a major challenge for all of us, not to stop expressing views on different matters, because this is the essence of democracy. But we have to realize that the future of our country very much depends on our behavior in terms of a long-term vision of our country. And constant quarrels and misunderstandings do not serve the purpose of having a vision of the future of the country. So I think this is a very noble goal of everyone, to try to somehow manifest his or her willingness to contribute to the national agreement in the sense of having different opinions on thousands of matters, but being ready to come to a certain consensus in the end, because I have no doubts whatsoever about that. That serves better and our long-term future.
That's it for today. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. See you next time on Poland Daily.